There she goes. Lost Letterman, man. We definitely have a special one tonight. We definitely have a special one tonight. This young lady said, "Why you want me
That's
on?"
right.
I don't play no sports, but yes, you do. You balling. You balling on a whole different level.
Oh,
Tonight, tonight, or excuse me, this evening we have with us Dr. Brenda Mack. Here at the Lost Letterman platform, we talk to a lot of people. We talk to a lot of players. We talk to a lot of coaches. We talk to a lot of administrators. We talk to some business people. And it's pretty evident when you see talent, and it's evident when you see something special.
mhm.
And in our estimation, what Ridgeview High School has in terms of climate and vibe is special.
Mhm.
And we have Dr. Brenda Mack, the principal of Ridgeview, on with us tonight. And we know it's not all about Dr. Mack, but she's probably the best person to communicate it. So when we were looking a few weeks ago about our people that we wanted to have on, we said we got to catch the vibe of what they've got at Ridgeview High School in Columbia, South Carolina. So welcome to the Lost Letterman, Dr. Brenda Mack. What's going on, Dr. Mack?
Hello. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for joining. Let's get right to it. Let's get right to it.
Okay.
So I know that you began being the principal in 2013, but obviously it didn't start there. Where did everything start for you? Where you're from originally?
Look, I grew up right down the road in Blythewood, South Carolina, back in the day.
Okay.
Hardscrabble was a dirt road.
Okay.
Attended Richland Two Schools, a proud graduate of Spring Valley High School, where I absolutely adored being a student there. And one thing that I learned, like that expectation of excellence. So I knew when I became an educator, I wanted to create an environment where we expect success for each and every student.
Now, with that being said, Dr. Mack, when did the light bulb or the passion for you in terms of being an educator kind of go off as you were matriculating through school? When did you kind of get the bug to say, education is something that I want to pursue and pursue it at a higher level?
Mhm. Um, to know me is to know that while I grew up in Blythewood, I was
Mhm.
adopted. And so my parents, Frank and Geneva Mack, adopted me, and I moved with my siblings to Blythewood. And I
Mhm.
knew that a teacher was the reason why that they knew that I wasn't being cared for in the manner that I should have been. So I've always known the value of education and teaching. And because of that, like I know the role that they play in the life of students because it was personal for me. And I know that when students have a caring adult in the building, then that can create and open so many doors. And so once I had the opportunity, went into education. I loved math and I loved Spanish, but I had amazing math teachers. So I became a math educator. And then I wanted to impact the learning environment more. So I went on, matriculated to being a school administrator, and then went on to be a principal because to have a hand in creating and developing a culture where kids feel loved, supported, and nurtured for whatever their
Keep going. I'm with you.
wherever their talents and strengths are is the kind of environment and culture that I wanted to create.
Man, you got me about ready to jump into one of your classes right now. So with that being said, who were some of the people, and I know there are a million, but who are some of the people that just off the top of your head that you kind of look to, not necessarily mentorship or role models, but who are some of the people who kind of helped you along your way as you've been on this journey, this educational journey?
Sure, absolutely. First and foremost, I must say Ellen Mosley. She was the principal at Eau Claire High School. So she hired me right out of the University of South Carolina to come and teach math. And then I began to see that was the first time I saw a role model and a female could be a high school principal. Had awesome teachers there who worked with me, Geraldine Parker, Verletha
Hmm.
Generette, and the great Coach Glimp. Like I watched and learned from him. And Jermaine O'Neal was one of my students in
Okay.
algebra class. So like I feel like I had a lot of great educators who showed me the foundation and what school can be. It's more than teaching algebra and math standards. It's really like getting kids to believe in themselves and know that they have a caring adult who cares for them.
Rest in peace to the great George Glimp. No hats in the building, George Glimp. And if I'm not mistaken, Coach Glimp was a math teacher as well. If I'm
He
not
was,
mistaken,
yes, he was.
yeah, yeah. So with that being said, how has teaching changed? I mean, obviously, society has changed. So
Mhm.
I hope teachers have changed. How have teachers changed, in your opinion, from when you first started to now?
I well, one of the things that I would say the foundation of teachers have always built relationships with kids, and so that's never going to change. How that happens may look differently in classrooms of today, but it's still the at the crux of what we do. Because before you can teach content, you have to really get to know your students, and so that doesn't change. But I will say it may look differently. When you go into a classroom today, you won't see kids in straight rows and just work and do a skill and drill. You're going to see a lot of students working collaboratively. You may have small groups. You may see the teacher sitting around in a kidney shaped table working with kids on basically on certain skills that they may need. Um, Kids haven't changed. They are so smart today, like because they, as you know, they have the worldwide net at their fingertips, so they're exposed to so much more. And so I think a lot of times for teachers it's about facilitating the learning environment and making sure that kids are able to maximize their learning. And it's not always the teacher in the front of the classroom now. You're going to see the teacher being the facilitator, sitting with small groups and working with kids on their individual skills or objectives that he or she may need. It's a lot of differentiation.
Man, you are a hell of a teacher. I could already tell. I'm actually sad that you're not teaching anymore because you were a hell of a teacher. Um, let's talk a little bit, and I don't want to keep you all night, but let's talk a little bit about Ridgeview
Hmm.
and 2013. And I know you were the assistant principal before 2013,
Yes.
but 2013,
Yes.
and um, the reason that you guys came up through our desk is because a lot of the things that you just said, in that, at least I think, schools are about educating kids. That, some kids might go to Benedict, some
Mm-hmm.
kids might go to Howard, some kids might go to Harvard.
Yes.
Some kids' path will be Midlands Tech, and some kids' path will not be college. It'll be, learning a trade or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, wherever success is. And one thing that jumped out, at least to us on this side, is you're really engaged with those kids.
Mm-hmm.
You're really engaged, and just in your social posts, you post a lot for the kids. It's not
Yes.
Ridgeview.
Right.
It's supporting the kids. How intentional is that for you? I can kind of tell that just in your background as a teacher, and I'm a firm believer in this. There's talent in everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for some people, it just pops out and it's easy to kind of spot. But you can find talent in, especially kids. You can find a talent in the kids, but sometimes you got to just work a little harder to find that talent. And I know for a fact you're one of those teachers who understands that there's talent there, but sometimes you just got to dig a little bit. So talk a little bit about
Mm-hmm.
how intentional you are about finding that talent and being cultivating those relationships with the kids, because sometimes as a principal, this, you don't always have to do that. You can I know you got like 7 assistant principals there, so and your teachers, but you can kind of farm that stuff out. But just talk a little bit about you being so intentional and developing those relationships with the kids, because I know you do.
Yeah, that's a great question. So one of the things that I will say, like Ridgeview, was you had great high schools for so long, Spring Valley and Richland Northeast, two of our sister schools. Then Ridgeview High School came along in
Mm-hmm.
1995. And so one of the things we had to do was really to develop an identity. And so even in 2013, like a lot of great things were happening. If your kid went to school here, then you knew that. But if your child wasn't here, the community, all they have ever known was the Vikings and the Cavaliers. So our school improvement council, they said, we do not want Ridgeview to be the best kept secret. So what can we do to get the word out to the community about the great things that are happening with our students and our faculty? And so with that, we decided, we began and we worked hard at like letting the community through our public relations, developing a communication and marketing plan, and really being intentional with letting the community learn about the great things that's happening at this school. And then what we do when we say we want to make sure that kids all, you can receive a personalized learning based on your skills and your interests, well, letting the community know that that exists. And so we are very intentional because I have amazing parents who send me amazing kids to school every day. And part of my job and our PR team is to get that story out and let everyone see. Look, I'm an
Man,
old Bonnie Ray girl. Like she used to say, let's give them something to talk about because people gonna make up something. Now, if you choose to not say great things about Ridgeview, it's not because we not putting the great things that our students and our faculty are doing every single day.
you know what? That to me, and education sometimes gets a bad rap for not being able to change, not being dynamic. That to me is all about what new education should be about in terms of having a PR, marketing, and letting people know some of the great things that, or all the great things that you guys are doing there and being very proactive. I will say this, man, whoever does the parental communications um, pamphlet, or whatever that thing is called,
Yes.
or whatever team does that, they are on top of their game. I was reading that thing. I read it like the last 2 or 3 years, man. That is, and I've read a lot of presentations, a lot of good ones and a lot of bad ones. But
Yeah.
man, that thing is so succinct and so direct and to the point, and doesn't belabor the points. But man, whoever does that, kudos to that team,
Awesome.
and you guys definitely have a fantastic PR team. But with that being said, I'm going to get onto this next thing, and I think this is fantastic. It's about expectation. It's
Mm-hmm.
about expectation.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing when I was reading that pamphlet or that document, you guys put expect success,
Right.
and I love that. About 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, I was on a podcast. We were talking basketball, and somebody said something. I said Ridgeview is going to beat every team by double digits, and I kind of said that because I believed it. Obviously, I thought I knew they had the talent to do that. But
Right.
the other thing was, I wanted to make sure that those players knew that was our expectation. That
Mm-hmm.
was our expectation of them, not just to win, but to have the expectation that they were going to win at a high level. And I
Right.
think that runs in parallel to what the whole school's vision is, talking about expecting success. And that doesn't mean that you always have to be successful, but
Mm-hmm.
it means that should be the expectation. So when you're
Absolutely.
not successful, and I actually said this the other day, somebody was crying because something had happened. And I said, that's a good thing because they expected success. They expected something else to happen. So it means that it meant something to them. So with that being said, talk a little bit about expecting success and kind of breathing that into to the students there at Ridgeview.
Yeah, yeah. And I'll be honest, like that is a part of our branding of who we are. It's on our doors. When you walk in, you see the expectation for success. And so we talk about success in the four A's. It could be academics, athletics, artistic, and activities. And so we want a kid, because I'll meet a kid who may be new to our school, and I say, talk to me about what you do, like what makes you you. And so I expect you to be successful academically, but you have to be a well-rounded student. And so I talk to them about what other things they do. Like, are you interested in what clubs? Can you be a student leader? Are you an artist? Do you think about acting? So the expectation for success, academics, athletics, arts, activities, that's just who we are. We are going to always rise to the occasion. And that is something that I have to teach and preach. And that's my expectation for me. And that is my expectation of the staff who work around me. And I just think that's a part of the culture of who we are and what we can speak to.
Well,
Because
you
when
know
we
what?
say and we want the best for our personal kids, if we treat these students like they're ours, you don't want anything for them but success. And so we have to breed that in our culture and instill that in our students.
You know what? I got to talk about one of your students, and then we're going to get the the other people that you have, the other administrators that you have. One thing is, I know we're talking to you, but you have to have a really strong team there. I know, obviously, I know Coach Stanley, I know
Mhm.
Coach Proctor, I know Coach Savage, Coach Howard. I know they're fantastic on the athletic side. Obviously, they teach as well. But
Right.
you have to have a strong teaching staff there because I'm a big proponent. If you have to know the principal of the school, then you got a problem. You need to know those teachers. So speak a little bit about your staff and how they really cultivate the Ridgeview way.
Absolutely. And I have some amazing, amazing educators. And one of the things that I'll speak to, because we have several smaller learning community, and I am so proud that we have had a consistent, like we don't have a lot of turnover. When you talk about Scholars Academy, Magnet of Business and Law, Nicole Walker, she was at Ridgeview prior to me coming to Ridgeview. So she's been here over 20 something years. When you speak of the school-wide magnet, the Med Pro magnet, Ellen Harris, she's a smaller learning community magnet director. And she has been here longer than than I've been here. Institute of Health Science, Dr. Degenhardt, Jennifer McLeod. Like I am proud of the educators who have been here because they truly understand the Ridgeview way, what it means when we talk about that expectation for success. And they are individuals who build a lot of relationships with kids. And so the consistency, and they've been here and they truly, truly love and embrace the Blazer community. So I could go on and on. I could talk about our School for the Arts, Miss Wyndham. We have an arts program, we have an engineering program. And so we really want students to find their passion and their interests in our smaller learning community.
Man, and that's another thing. When as I was reading the communication, kids don't have any excuse. Parents don't have any excuse. There's
Right.
something in that school that child is going to be exposed to, and figuring out what that pathway is. So much kudos to you, Dr. Mack. I don't know why you would feel not comfortable about coming on. You speak so eloquently about the school. We're not talking sports on here, but let's get
Yes.
is it Mr. Wilson?
Yeah, Mr. Wilson, Mackie Wilson.
Pass me the phone. Don't pass me the phone. How you doing? Oh, we still
You can just take her seat if you want to, Mr. Wilson.
we good. Can you hear me? Can you,
Not very well. Say something else.
hold on a second. Can you hear me?
Hey, you guys might need to log off and log back in. I think the connection might have
Okay.
gone bad.
All right, hold on 1 second.
I got you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you fine.
All right, cool.
Mr. Wilson,
Yes, sir. How you doing?
what's going on with you, man?
Nothing much. I'm just here listening to this great conversation between you and Dr. Matt, just taking it
Let,
all in.
all right. Don't give me all that corporate ritual stuff. So, talk to me about Blazer Nation. What makes it so special?
I would say what makes it so special. This is my second year at Ridgeview, but View County is definitely a great fan base. Whether it's our parents, definitely had to shout out all of our parents because of how supportive that they are of their children. Not only their children, but they're supportive of the staff as well. So that plays a big role in some of the things that we're able to do, whether it's in the classrooms or on the field or on the courts. Our parents, they play a huge role in that, and just the adults that we have in the building, they truly care about what we're trying to build and what has already been established. So that goes hand in hand, and just having that support, it allows us to do what we need to do as the staff, but it also allows us to pour into our kids and ensure that they're successful in everything that they do as well.
You know what, Mr. Wilson? I'm so glad, and I'm gonna hone in on one word you said: support. And
Hmm.
I think that's the beautiful thing. That's one of the beautiful things about Ridgeview. Uh, the kids get a lot of support early. You know what I mean? They've got a strong foundation, and they see people who look like them
Yeah,
in positions of authority and positions of success. How
yeah.
important do you think that is? Because I'll be honest with you, that's a great foundation. But once they leave Ridgeview, it's not always like that. So it's great to have that support and kind of pour into them that expectation of success early. So how important do you think that is, kind of setting that foundation for them as they go and matriculate to other areas outside of Ridgeview?
I think it's very important because a lot of our kids, they come back and they give back because of what has already been laid, the foundation that has been laid. But it's something that they can always reflect back on and kind of think about once they get to that next level, to the next place that they're going into their life. Having that background or having that foundation already laid, it allows them to branch off and do other great things, and it's nothing new to them because they've already experienced it. So it kind of makes things a little easier for them, even though they will face some type of adversity going forward. They have something that they can reflect back on and kind of push them and get them over that hump whenever, that challenges, approaches.
Last question. We're on the Lost Letterman, Mr. Wilson. So I'm
Mhm.
not sure if you're familiar with the platform, but we got to answer serious questions.
I got you.
Did you go to the semifinal basketball game?
I guess Burns.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was there. I was there.
Did you want to fire Josh Staley after the first half?
No, I believe in Coach Staley. Uh, never. Nah, never that. Like, I believe in Coach Staley. It's a thing, and I'm a former basketball player as well, so I understand. Basketball is a game of runs, and you just have to get stops and make adjustments. So I always have 100% faith in Coach Staley that he will pull it out and get the win. So never thought in my mind.
I'm just kidding. Shout out to Coach Staley. The two best coaches in South Carolina, both named Staley.
Oh yeah, most
So,
definitely.
so with that being said, is there one other person there, Mr. Wilson?
Yeah, Miss Dubar, she's over
Okay.
PR, and she assists a lot with what we do with athletics as well, as far as capturing the moments. Not only athletics, but she captures a lot of the moments around the school, and she runs our social media pages. So I heard you talk about our PR team. A lot of that is her work. So she's great at what she does.
Is she there right now?
Yeah, she is. Yeah, I'm about
Does she
to.
want to come on?
Yeah, she's coming. Hold on one second. I'm about to transition. I'm gonna let her sit down, and then we'll go from there.
All right. Nice to meet you, Mr. Wilson.
Yes, sir.
Oh, hi. Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm fine. How are you doing?
Can you push the camera back a little bit?
Oh, sorry. Is this better?
Oh,
I should
fantastic,
sit
fantastic.
there.
Actually, is it Dubar?
Barda with a D.
Okay, okay. You're actually the person that we needed to talk to. Yeah, obviously we love Dr. Mack, but the way how long have you been in the role in terms of PR and branding for Ridgeview?
So this is my second year. I was assisting
Okay.
last year with another AP that was over public relations, but this year I'm over it solely with the team that I work with every day in reference to posting, grabbing pictures, and getting insights on different students and events that's happening at Ridgeview High School. So I used to teach here years ago, maybe 5 years ago for 2 years. I taught health science, and then I came back in as an admin role, and PR, public relations. That always been a thing that I like to do. Like, I love to go to all the sporting events, some of the academic stuff, and the art stuff that we have here as well. So it's a good thing to do and to capture those moments of students in their greatest aspect here at Ridgeview High School.
Well, I'll say this. First of all, you're doing a hell of a job. The second thing is, obviously there's a lot of talent there. So you have a foundation to work with, fantastic foundation. But I could tell you're very creative in you're thinking out of the box, because education and schools are not the same as they were 10, 15. We didn't have social media during this time,
Right.
10 or 15 years ago. So how cognizant are you to, think outside of the box when you're promoting Ridgeview? Because to me, other than maybe one other high school, maybe two, um, Ridgeview's the only other school that has a brand. You know what? They have a brand. It's not just about Josh Daly. It's just not
Right.
about Coach Howard. And it's not about the principal. It's about Ridgeview, the brand. And those are components underneath that brand. So how cognizant are you to sometimes push the envelope, but also just make sure you keep expanding that brand? And I actually think the next step, or one of the steps, should be like monetization of that brand. But that's probably a conversation for a different day. But how cognizant are you to make sure that brand keeps expanding?
So we work on systems here at Ridgeview High School, and the systems that Dr. Mack laid out in front of us have different pathways that we need to make sure that our school is always at the forefront. Like we need to make sure that our school is being seen because we have to tell our story. So on the outside looking in, you can be like, okay, Ridgeview is a high school. Ridgeview has sports, they have activities, they have arts, they have athletics. But what are we really like? How do we brand ourselves every day? And so with those videos that we make, the pictures that we take with our students on their birthdays, just to give them birthday selfies. Like me and Mr. Wilson, we'll go around the school and take pictures of students who are celebrating birthdays throughout the week, post it on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and our parents love that. Like the community buy-in, they want to see that. So why not tell Ridgew's story when it comes to public relations? Because like at the end of the day, we are still making our brand stand out, and that's why we are one of the top schools here in Richland County because we do promote our stuff. So thinking outside the box is nothing new to me. Just creating videos, just thinking like when we have our PR meetings, like what can we continue to do to brand our school and make sure that everybody love us. So just stuff like that makes us stand out more than other schools.
Well, we're going to close it with that, and I'm just going to give Dr. Mack a piece of advice. Um, she's talked about continuity in staff. Um, she might have some turnover here in the next few years because there's a lot of talent. Ms. Dubar, you being one of those talented individuals, so she might have to some roles to replace. But
Yes.
definitely great meeting you, Ms. Dubar. Obviously,
Nice to
great
meet
meeting
you.
you, Mr. Wilson, and Dr. Mack. Thank you so much for spending a little time with the Lost Letterman. We're so happy to have you, and also keep doing what you're doing. And I'm sure that steel sharpens steel. A rising tide lifts all boats. There are probably going to be other schools that see this, and I think this is going to be a great thing. And they're going to get more proactive in terms of their branding and things of that nature. So I think and this is a fantastic message all the way around. So, but thanks for joining Lost Southern.
It's good, but it's all at the view. So at the end of the day, when you see us on social media platforms, just remember that it's all at the view. Everything is at View County for kids to be
I
successful.
love it.